Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Welcome back to the I'm Dazed and He's Confused podcast. I'm Beetlejuice.
And I'm Levon. It's wonderful to have you here, Beetlejuice.
Good to be here.
He's going to do this the whole time.
So what's great about this movie is that I literally fucking tear things apart in this fucking movie, man.
Okay. Yes, we're talking about... Are we talking about both Beetlejuices? Yes.
We can do a little bit of both.
We're going to do a little bit of bofa.
Oh, the more you talk about me, the better.
So I guess we'll the new Beetlejuice is out.
We're going to be talking about Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Right, yes. Starring Michael Beetlejuice.
Michael Bolton as Beetlejuice.
Michael Bolton as...
Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Winona Ryder, Jenna Ortega, Catherine O'Hara, Justin Theroux.
Yep. Your boy.
And Monica Bellucci.
Monica Bellucci. Hell yeah, dude. And Willem Dafoe.
And Willem Dafoe and that little twerp kid that we'll get into.
And Bob.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Yeah, of Haunted Mansion fame.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so you might know him
Haunted
from
Mansion.
Or director of Matilda.
I remember Haunted Mansion more.
That's a terrible take. All right, so yeah.
Best Halloween movie that didn't come out on Halloween, I think.
Is this year's Beetlejuice?
No, Haunted Mansion.
Oh, Haunted Mansion. Yeah, when did that come out? In September?
It was the summer. It was like the dead middle of summer.
Yeah, that was a terrible idea from Disney. But we love to see bad ideas from Disney.
Yes, we do.
Speaking of bad ideas, sometimes sequels are a bad idea.
I disagree.
Okay, well, let me get there. Sometimes they are. This one is Beetlejuice, certainly a legacy sequel. It's been quite some time. I guess it could be kind of comparable to Ghostbusters in the time waited and the big movie they were in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously this is a thing that happens in movies. It continues. Sorry, I don't have enough energy. Garrett's going to like whip me after this. Basically,
I was going to whip you anyways.
Twisters. Literally, there was one we covered this year. So there's another legacy sequel, Top Gun Maverick. So all these little 80s babies, loser Gen X pieces of work, they just, they're nostalgic now. So they need all their little childhood things back. And one of those movies from their time,
sorry,
bless you, is Beetlejuice.
The
Tim Burton film from 1988.
Well, I think just to start out, the difference with this, I think, is that Tim Burton's directing.
Okay.
And
it's a good point.
I think it was less callbacky and more pushing it forward.
Okay.
The story forward. If you didn't get that at all. I think.
Oh.
Obviously that there is callbacks and all that.
Right.
But I don't think it was overdone. In any way.
It wasn't too referential. It wasn't. You just kind of got thrown back into that space, I guess.
Which I loved that part.
Yeah.
At the start of the movie, you get the title sequence and you get the model city.
Yep.
That you get from the first one.
That Danny Elfman music again.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
I think this movie does a great job in bringing us back into the world, and I don't think it does a good job at introducing new characters, but it brings back the world nice. Okay. Sure. Sure. Did you mention... You don't agree?
No, I will get into it. I don't really know how to... Let's just start with the original Beetlejuice and how you feel about it, because I finally watched it for the first time.
Yes, I think I've been saying this. I probably like Beetlejuice more than anybody else that I knew, besides you now, I guess.
Wow. Well, I don't mean to steal your thunder.
It's okay. Everybody does.
I like it as a good movie. I don't know if I like
I mean, I don't love it. The first time I saw it was last year.
Sure. It's pretty
It's
damn
just a
good.
fun time. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
I think you only really love it and do what like the freaks did and dress up for it and go to Beetlejuice Beetlejuice if you watched it when you were a kid.
Yes, which I wish I did a little bit, but
Yeah, I only ever saw parts when I was a kid of it on TV.
For the next generation, I will make sure it happens. Because this, I think, is enjoyable at all ages, probably.
Yeah, yeah. There's no child wonder in this movie. Like, it's not for children or the old one, but
Yeah. But like I would have loved that as a kid to watch.
Yeah. It's not a Hocus Pocus or a Halloween Town. It
sure isn't.
It's an adult film.
It's very funny. There are a lot of things I came to appreciate about the first one. Obviously, just like the craftsmanship, the practical effects, and that kind of stuff. Also, the resistance and the restraint with the Beetlejuice character used, because he does not show up for a long time in that movie, and the first time you see him is on a little ad on a TV, which is very funny. But immediately I'm like completely gripped. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to see Michael Keaton do that again, because I just think he's hilarious. But I'm also interested in the rest of the movie. Like, I care about what's going on, and I didn't get too caught up just waiting for the Beetlejuice scenes to happen, because I was entertained by the rest of it too. I found it to be fun, and I think Winona Ryder, her teenage character is pretty funny. Her like view of the world makes me laugh. Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are really good. They're so great, and I just like the tone taken with the movie because they die right away, and it's like it doesn't like make there's no effort to like make this too sad.
Yeah,
it's just a fun time.
Both of these movies start with a death, basically, but there's no connection established in this, in the new one, where the connection is established in the first one, and you have an emotional and an emotional attachment right off the bat. And I think
exactly
that's where this movie suffers a little bit, is that we're just seeing these old characters kind of being just put through the ringer with no care, because we see the rules now in this movie are that basically anybody can get to the afterlife. And
there's not a lot of
just like no care.
It is a lot of just throwing shit and seeing what sticks. To me, that's what I felt. It didn't seem like there was a lot of like rhyme or reason to why anything was happening in the new one. Stuff just keeps unfolding, and then I think the second half of the movie really just turns into like a wandering place to place quest that slightly makes sense, but also there's too many cutbacks to other like peripheral characters that I just didn't care for.
It's a Spider-Man 3 syndrome.
For real.
We got 3 villains for no reason when it probably should have just been
borderline Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it would have been way better if it was just Beetlejuice and that kid.
Yeah.
With Jenna Ortega.
Because the kid...
2 of the 3, at least. Just the 3 bloated this movie and made it too much to focus on.
All right. Well, speaking of nothing to focus on, let's pick a focus here. I guess we can talk about Jenna Ortega and her character, because I guess she is the catalyst for kind of everything that continues to happen in this movie. One of our modern horror scream queens, I guess. She certainly is.
What else has she been in besides Scream?
X.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She did the Wednesday show, which this seems like kind of in the same vein of like,
She's just the modern day Winona Ryder.
In a way, they have similarities, and I'm always excited to watch Jenna Ortega. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if she's really given that much to do in this one. But anyways, she's Winona Ryder's daughter.
Yeah.
Lydia Dietz's daughter.
Maybe the casting is just too on the nose.
It's okay to be on the nose. Your boy Justin Theroux did not work for me.
No, not at all. It was also, he didn't have to be in this movie. Or at least in the fashion that he was.
He reminded me kind of the annoying fashion designer or like interior designer guy from the first one. But that guy actually like has some moments, you know, and like he's meant to be despicable. But this movie Beetlejuice 2 tries to like trick you into thinking like that this guy's okay, even though like it actually doesn't want you to like him at all. So it's just like this character that we don't like the whole movie. And what's Jenna Ortega's character's name? She doesn't like him the whole movie because he's gonna be her stepdad, and she doesn't like her mom. And they could have just focused on that relationship more.
Yeah, they could have focused more on each of the aspects of the story. And correct me if I'm wrong, since you watched Beetlejuice recently.
Yes.
The designer, he's not of like any consequence in the movie. He's just there, and Catherine O'Hara's friend. Yeah,
I mean, he like remodels the house, which is I think a very funny part of the movie, and makes it all like modernist, and it's like still just a suburban home. It's quite funny, but well, he keeps they're all trying to like profit off the ghosts in the first one, and like how can we sell this, because they're such like bad people that are only motivated by money. But that really, I mean, I guess that's the Theroux character's motivation as well, to make money and exploit his situation.
Yeah.
But it really just isn't executed with any emotional backing.
Well, you see it from there. He's not tricking anybody. He shows it from the first scene is introduced what his intentions are, and you expect it because of the way he looked anyway. But Justin Theroux does play a good slimy guy. I think that's always... But
he was dressed too colonial for this. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm like, why is this guy like colonial douche?
Well, I watched... I've been not forced, but I've had to watch Sex and the City recently, and he's in that. And he plays this like piece of shit writer who's famous for no reason. He wears sandals.
It's a character archetype that me and Garrett love. Piece of shit writers
who wear sandals, but not the sandals. But I think this archetype is a little tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not interesting.
It isn't.
I don't think it has ever been interesting.
No.
But people keep writing it into scripts.
I think it's easy.
Yeah, it's an easy fallback.
It's just, and like you said, it's just another antagonist that this movie doesn't need.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Lydia Dietz can be going through it enough just based on her daughter, like not liking her.
Maybe he should have just been a manager, not a boyfriend.
Yeah, the father of her kid is gone.
Dead.
Her dad just died, and it's like, what if she had one other thing? And it's like, why? It just seems like every time he's in, I'm like, this is just a waste.
Yeah, and I think he had like one funny line through the whole thing, like during the funeral, maybe.
Yeah.
But
all right, what about Bellucci, Monica Bellucci? She's in this, but also
not in it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of walking around looking beautiful, and that's about it.
The introduction's good. It's good body
that
imagery.
Scene was kind of cool.
And then Danny DeVito. Yeah. Tim Burton just said to Danny DeVito, "Hey, do you want to come do your shtick?"
Yeah, exactly. Like if he wasn't blue, that would have just been a normal episode of Sunny in the basement of Patty's Pub.
All there needed to be was a dumpster in that room.
Yeah, exactly. Like Charlie'd walk out of the corner with a bat and be like, "What happened? Been killing rats all day."
That would have been a great cameo. If he comes in after and he finds him and he's like,
he's got like a bag because he huffed too much glue or something and finally died.
He just looks like Charlie with the paint around his face.
Yeah.
That's how he died.
No, that would have been too on the nose. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like on that. I'm just take it or leave it. Like I'm not upset that it's in the movie, but it doesn't like add anything for me.
What if
Hit me.
she was in it doing what she's doing, but she never actually got the Beetlejuice?
That would
Like,
be
she
even
never
more
became part of the
pointless.
plot.
That would be even more useless.
No, but wouldn't that, like, with all the stuff going on already, you're waiting for her to show up.
Yeah, and
And then
she would.
And then you just cut back to her not being able to. Like, and to move to Willem Dafoe's character.
Another guy who it's just
And
like, why are you in this?
And the Afterlife Police.
Yes.
Why there wasn't any of this in the first movie.
Uh-huh.
We weren't really in the afterlife that much besides
It was
in
briefer.
Beetlejuice's realm
Yeah.
of his office or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
but they didn't throw this big of a fit the first one. He brought a human down there. He brought humans down there before. I think that was written in just so we could get a weird way of Monica Bellucci showing up because that door was open and she was led there.
And it's just like those two extra things don't add to the actual they're not adding to the story that we want to see, which is just Lydia Dietz and her family, you know?
Yeah, Lydia and her family, and then Beetlejuice.
Astrid is Jenna Ortega's
Astrid.
character, yeah. Because I think that's the point of Beetlejuice, you know, to bridge that gap to the after whatever and out. But yeah, and then Willem Dafoe, I kind of thought it was funny,
It was.
but then it got a little tired because it's just like, why are we cutting back to him for a minute of him just doing his shtick about I'm an actor and playing cop? It didn't add for me.
Well, I was thinking like, yeah, this guy played a cop when he was alive, but why is he their cop? There's cops that have died.
Yeah,
There's
well,
police sergeants that have died. Why is this guy?
I like
How did this
that
guy
his-
get the role?
Well, what was it that, so he got injured doing his own stunt.
Yeah,
and that's how he died, and that's why his brain is exposed.
It was supposed to be a fake grenade, but he jumped on it and it blew up.
and then he just keeps having memory lapses where he thinks he's a real cop. But it was funny when she was holding up the cards behind him
Yeah,
and couldn't quite see the line.
The best part of that was the secretary. Was the interaction with the secretary.
I thought she was pretty solid for just a random character. She did have funny lines, and her presence was good. Who's another? I feel like the first movie doesn't have these like peripheral side characters. They're all kind of involved. Like everybody's involved.
Yeah, well, in the first one, it was just the family, and then
Baldwin and
Baldwin
Gina
and
Davis, but
and then
even they get
Beetlejuice.
given so much time. And
yeah, well, the first one is Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's movie,
yeah,
and they moved on, I guess. They just couldn't have Alec Baldwin in this movie.
and that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
and then
that works fine because what are you going to do
Yeah.
again with them?
I did appreciate how who is what would be the Catherine O'Hara's husband? I can't. What that actor?
That actor, the pedophile?
Is that what he did?
Yeah, he's a pedophile.
Oh, shit.
And they worked around that great too.
They did, because I thought it
They
was like a thing
bit
of
his-
respect why they weren't going to put his face in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, did that guy die in real life and they don't want
No,
to
just
CG him in? And
Just a pedo. And they, I don't know how they got.
okay,
I don't know how they got the rights
yeah,
to be able to put him in the movie.
it's probably something they've had
I mean,
the
it was
rights
probably
for.
he was probably, or his family or whatever was probably like, yeah, give us the money, but
Maybe they just used like on his gravestone. What the hell is that gravestone to? It's like
Yeah,
a
that's
glass
great.
shark fin, but I like it. That's weird. It's like but because his face is on it, and maybe they could only use stuff like from the first Beetlejuice movie.
Maybe.
And maybe that's just like a screenshot they took of a frame from that movie. But oh damn, I didn't know that. Fuck that guy then.
I'm trying to find. I have to go to the just Beetlejuice.
You are certain about that though, right?
Yeah, he's a.
Okay, because I don't want to.
No, I know I call people pedophiles a lot, but
Okay.
I'm right on this one.
That is unfortunate.
No allegedly here.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's not in it, so good, I guess. Cause
Jeffrey Jones, that's a pedophile's name.
All right. Sorry to every Jeffrey Jones out there. 'Cause it seems like a common name too, but
6 foot 4 inches.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. Punch.
Daylight come and me wanna go home.
I did like that kind of choir scene. You know, they
Yeah, that
did
was
something
good.
similar in Minions: Rise of Gru. You know,
That was emotional. It was good.
it was good. The dance scene that we get
At the end,
a little. See, that was a moment that didn't really work for me personally, because when the dance scene happens in the first movie, it's facilitated by Baldwin and Davis. They're the ones doing it.
yeah. It was an obligatory dance scene. The sequel.
Sure.
If this was a standalone movie,
Oh,
you would probably like
I
it.
would. I don't know. I don't know if I liked all the Beetlejuice like ballads though, because he sings like.
Yeah, that was.
And some old people were laughing in my theater, but I was kind of like, you know.
What was
it's
the one?
okay.
And I don't want to miss. No, it wasn't that one. But
Shit like that though.
yeah, that single one, that first one was funny. The second one, I was like, oh, we're just gonna have them sing all the time. now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the wacky and the quirky just didn't. It felt like Burton reaching in his bag, like, okay, this is how I do this, but are we creating new stuff here? Like, are you really pushing it? Like, what if we did this and that and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talked last week about Burton's downfall, combined with Sam Raimi's or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think this is the example that I was missing, was Tim Burton still can reach into his bag of tricks, but not really produce anything new that really connects with people. I think Sam Raimi hasn't really had the opportunity even to create something new to connect. What's his biggest movie of the last since Spider-Man 3's
Yeah, I don't
Doctor
know.
Strange. He hasn't really been making that much.
But Burton, this movie was it's just like clean. It was so like you could tell this is a big studio movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just like, did he always make these movies and that's just what studio movies looked like in the 80s and 90s? And that's probably true, but I feel like I was seeing stuff I'd never seen before in Beetlejuice, and I was like, that's pretty cool and creative. And this one, it did feel like a 2024 Beetlejuice movie. It felt very 2024.
Yeah, I think Beetlejuice is probably the most... I haven't seen all of his movies, but is the most standard looking of all of them, because he needs to show the afterlife, so he shows the real world as real as he can with that. But he still does make iconic images, like with the house and
the model, there's a lot more of the...
a lot more model stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just sign of the times, I guess.
Which is an awesome time.
Yeah. But so he still does make iconic imagery in the real world, but that was the first time they were seeing his version of the afterlife or whatever. So I think that's why that is so impactful in that first movie, as just being a memorable experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you go to I haven't seen Edward Scissorhands, but you go to the clips of Edward Scissorhands, and that's a clean movie, and it's just Tim Burton imagery and props and all that. So I usually accept that argument, but I'm not going to accept it for this one. I think it's just the CGI, the extra CGI.
I agree, and I think that has allowed him. I think the advancements in technology and perhaps the laziness. Not that he's lazy, and not that all these people are that work on the movie, but even just the snake. Like, yes, it doesn't look real, and it doesn't look amazing in the original, but in this one, it's like...
I thought it still looked good in this.
It looked good, but it didn't look real. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean real, I don't mean like I'm gonna walk outside and that's what it looks like. I mean like that's an actual thing being filmed. And in this, that looks like it was made on a computer. Not that it looks bad, but I'd rather it look like a model. I'd rather it look like a puppet.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then that's at least real. It's like I get I'm watching a movie and things aren't real, but let's do shit with real stuff. And I don't know, he obviously has a love of like stop motion.
Yes, of course.
Obviously. And I would have loved a little more of that in this movie, just even for little things. But
I don't know. Did you look up to see if it was real or not?
I looked up at the screen and I was like, that shit does not look that real.
Maybe just the frame rate was quicker.
Even, you know, when they, in the first one, when Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis put on their scary faces and they look like Spy vs. Spy from Mad Magazine almost.
Yeah.
Like that stuff, I can tell that they're wearing a real mask that somebody made, and it's like kind of scary. Mm-hmm. And I love that. But we don't get that as much here. I don't know. It's just kind of like, let's paint people blue.
Yeah, even with Mr. Dietz or whatever his name is in the movie. Him with his head body bit off.
Yeah.
Would have looked better if it was practical, probably. Because he did look really wonky walking around. Mm-hmm. If it was a practical effect and you have a little person or just like a animatronic walking around, that would have probably looked way more vivid and real.
It's like, I don't need it, just make it wacky. Like everything here looks like something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the Soul Train, dude?
That was ridiculous.
What was that?
It was funny the first time, but then it was like, okay, so we're just gonna keep cutting back to this jam-packed.
Well, I don't get like
jam-packed blue screen.
But if you get on the Soul Train, you can never come back. So those people just dance there, but never get on.
Some of them do. Well, maybe for other people.
How many people that died in the late 70s are still left, man? Like, what is going on?
Maybe some people are just there for the party.
Where does the Soul Train go? You can't come. I don't understand. They keep making new places in this afterlife.
I think this is purgatory.
Okay.
Not hell or...
So it's like over once you get on the Soul Train.
Yeah, I think so. I think you go to heaven or hell.
But do you need like a ticket to get on there?
Yeah, she got her ticket, didn't she?
No, he got like his visa stamped to switch. All right. Talk to me about the boy.
So his name, this little punk.
Yeah, because I think this is an important part of the movie that weirdly resolves, if I can even say that about this section.
So this is Arthur Conti, film debut.
It's his debut, okay.
I thought he was good until the turn. I liked the story until the turn.
Yeah.
Of evil.
That's about as far as they wrote him to.
Yeah.
They were just like...
And then the biggest problem with having all these different plot lines and villains is how, in the end, none of them are consequential at all. None of them were tough to deal with. Like Beetlejuice at the end of the first one, you're like, he's gonna fucking marry Winona Ryder and fucking
and he's throwing shit on people's mouths and they can't get him out. And
but it's like all three of these guys, Beetlejuice just like fucks them all up.
That's true. That is true.
And I feel like so many movies do this now, where it's like, you introduce all these different elements, but in the end, it's not of any consequence.
Right. Like, the Bellucci character is only killing people that we don't know.
Yeah, and she's just killing people randomly.
Yeah, but none of them
reason.
who we've met before, she does that, and she's going after Beetlejuice, but, like, as much as the movie's called Beetlejuice, this shit isn't about Beetlejuice.
No. Like, the actual story... That's what the first one did. It was called Beetlejuice because he's... The axis of the movie is
right
getting his help, and Davis and Baldwin's characters, what are they called? What's their names in the movie?
The M somethings, the Macatees or the
McAdoos.
They are
Macadamians.
Oh, of course they don't have their last names on Letterboxd.
Well, anyway, but
Adam and Barbara.
The whole film hinges on getting his help, and that's where their time gets bad and everything goes to shit. It's still their story, just Beetlejuice is the person that gets thrown in to mess everything up. And in this, it's the same premise, but since Beetlejuice is such a big hit, they think they have to do so much more with him. But then you lose some of the charm where, like,
he comes in right away in this movie.
Yeah, you miss the impact of him, because now he's just another character, and he's great in it again.
Yeah,
but it's not like, holy fuck, Beetlejuice was so good. It's like, yeah, it was Beetlejuice, and it was a solid movie.
And how do him and Astrid meet?
Beetlejuice and Astrid?
Yeah.
Or
do they only ever meet, like, at the church?
Yeah, I think it's just at the church, basically.
Like, what are we doing with the...
Well, they didn't have to meet, but the fact...
But, I mean, that's the problem with this movie. Like, we're not putting our main characters together. We want to see Astrid, we want to see Lydia...
Beetlejuice and Catherine O'Hara.
Right. We want to see them interacting. There's a lot of the three living ones that do interact, but I don't know. Yeah, Beetlejuice is weird, or used kind of weird in this movie. Like, why he's in some scenes and why he's not in others. His impact. They have him doing too much mundane shit. But it's just like, I don't need to see him do this. Like, I want to see him have an impact.
Yeah, so in the first one, he's a villain. In this one, an anti-hero is what I've heard him called. Lydia requests his help to get her daughter back from Conti. I'm just going to say it like he's an Egyptian god. That's Cantu. But after Conti tricks her and takes her down to the afterlife,
Jeremy.
Winona asks for his help, and then so now he's just basically a little helper who's trying to... So they made an agreement that he's going to marry her for helping her get back her daughter.
Yeah, Lydia.
So
finally,
he does everything he can to help her. And then at the end of the movie, he gets fucked and he gets tricked again. Like,
he gets tricked?
Well, he was going to marry her. They signed an agreement.
Well, yeah, because it's still messed up.
We all wanted to see Lydia and him get married. She's an adult now. She's an adult now.
We didn't want to see that. We didn't want to see that.
It's not bad anymore. She's an adult.
He still had her old picture on his desk.
Well, that's the only one he had.
That's what I think
You want him to cut out pictures from the newspaper?
The Bellucci character could have been used better for that if her and Lydia had a showdown earlier in the movie.
Yeah, like...
But once they finally land in the church together, it's like, this is so unearned.
Maybe she rises because she's jealous. Maybe Beetlejuice gives Lydia the ring that he gave her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she saw the picture on the desk, and she's like, "Who is this?"
Well, yeah,
dude?"
but that's not why she came back.
Sure.
It was just coincidence, I guess.
Yeah.
Just coincidence.
It just happens. Everything
Movies need to
just happens.
Movies
in this movie.
need to pick to go simple or not, because nobody knows how to write complicated stories.
Yes.
Because I guess I'm somebody who wants to write scripts that doesn't read and doesn't.
Do you know who the writers of this movie are?
Who?
I'm gonna name you. So Miles Millar and Alfred Goh. These are the two guys that are known for Shanghai Noon, Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, so the third Mummy film, and Herbie Fully Loaded with Lindsay Lohan. So obviously these guys have some real pedigree. I mean, they did Shanghai Nights as well, and Showtime with Eddie Murphy and De Niro.
Okay.
So, these guys have made some bangers in their day. So
yeah, let's not shit on Shanghai Noon.
But let's also not give these movies to these people. I just don't get it. Like, there must be some screenwriter industrial complex where it's like these same people just like get to write scripts for the biggest damn movies. Like, I don't know. Who are these producers that sit in a room and they're like, yeah, you guys can write the new Beetlejuice movie because that first one was good. You should at least have one movie as good as that if you're going to write the sequel.
Yeah.
So that's all. I mean, like, what do you expect? What do you expect?
How long was this in development?
I don't know.
Because these studios get different treatments of the script or whatever from different people. I think just the more and more as the longer it's in development.
Sure.
So, like, the fact that they picked this one,
yeah,
which I don't think it's a bad script. I think it's funny. I think it does.
It's a bad story.
The story's bad. There's too much going on. But the fact that at the end of the day, it's the studio's fault or Tim Burton's fault for picking this script.
Well, it seems like they had a lot of ideas, like starts of them and ends of them, and they're like, okay, how can we put these together? And a lot of these ideas go from a start to an end, but don't really cross paths with the other ones in a significant way. So, like, all these threads and storylines we have going, they don't seem reliant on each other, which, is awesome when, like, you watch a movie and each scene can build onto the one you just saw, or even a few scenes later, you're like, okay, that builds onto that. Just didn't really feel that way in this movie. It's a lot of just shit happening.
Yeah, I thought it was good till the climax.
Oh man, yeah, fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Because you knew the Bellucci character was coming back.
Yeah. So
and these movies, I didn't know how long it was going to be, but I assumed it wasn't going to be that long of a movie because the first one's like 90-some minutes, So I was like, are they really just going to end it like now? Like it's just going to end? And it kind of just feels like, it just ends.
Yeah.
Because of this movie doesn't really feel like it has a first, second, and third act.
Yeah, like this is probably the last time they're going to make a Beetlejuice movie. And they just bit off...
Until 20 years from now when it's just Jenna Ortega and then everybody else died.
Think about Michael Keaton in that makeup.
He's like 85.
They bit off more than they could chew, but at the end of the story, they have to wrap everything up neatly.
Yeah.
So then, and they just didn't make anything grand enough, basically.
Yeah.
To make that neat bow you excited about what was in the package.
Exactly. I think the first movie wraps up so nicely. It's just like they're now all living together, and this family who was very greedy and pathetic has changed their ways a little bit, and The Lydia character as a teenager, she's happy and she's like floating, and they dance together on the end, and it's like, oh, it's like this is a wholesome ass ending.
She
like,
found her family.
Exactly. This one is just like, I don't know what happens next. And spoiler alert for spoiler. Spoiler. The Catherine O'Hara snake bite?
That's what I meant by like, they're just.
What the hell?
Like.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
She's like, we look at these snakes one time at the table. At no point am I thinking like, this is what's going to kill her. And then the next scene, she's doing fucking yoga and gets like killed.
I mean, I guess it's ironic. Like, there's a world where that was like done well, I think.
I agree.
Like, it's an ironic way to die. She spent her money and she said, these are good. And she died the way she lived, doing weird shit for no reason.
Sure.
And just one thing about Catherine O'Hara, sometimes I'm like, her whole thing is going to get tired at some point. Because most of the stuff she does, like this and Schitt's Creek, she's playing this rich, snobby, like, weirdly over-the-top woman. But she's always great.
She's really great.
Yeah. My one complaint is Eugene Levy should have been in this.
He would have been good in the afterlife or as a real human.
Dan Levy should have played that designer's son.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like to get her to the afterlife.
And
it's just modern bad screenwriting.
But then it was just kind of like, oh, you're dead. Oh, bummer. And then it's part ways, and I'm like, that should be the emotional like beat of the movie, like that happened. This should be sad for at least 2 minutes, you know?
Yeah, that she found she found her real parents from the afterlife, and now she's lost both her parents to the afterlife. Her real parents.
Or I really kind of hated how Astrid just runs into her dad.
Yeah, that was
classic movie thing, but okay.
Like, how does the afterlife work? How do we determine who? That
was the problem with this movie. In the first one, it's like they're just going to be vague, and you're not going to be there a lot. So like, I don't even have the questions to ask.
You assume in the first one that everybody that's working is just like a demon,
or they're just dead. But like,
or they've
also
been dead a really long time.
That everybody doesn't give a shit, or like half aware. So like the bureaucracy of it is terrible and moves bad, and the organization's so slow, and that's why your wait time is years and weeks, and you have to pick a number, and like I'm okay with that explanation. But in this one, it's like we got corridors, and there's so many different things, and there's the soul train, and we got all these departments, and
it feels like besides the characters we meet, that everybody's like a robot.
But it's like, why do they have all these rooms now? It's like it's some mega complex.
There's a lot of people in the afterlife, and then the guy's just running a dry cleaning business.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like, why is he doing that? That's what I'm saying. Like, is there a McDonald's around the corner too? Like, why? Just have them be people sitting around waiting, because that's how I felt that the first one like made being dead seem like, you know, like you're stuck there. You don't have time to go to a opera show and then hit McDonald's and pick up my clothes from the ghost dry cleaner on the way home. It's like, this is just normal life, but people are dead and blue.
Yeah, it should have been all like the DMV.
Yeah.
All of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One big just waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't write it, so I guess who cares?
We should have. Maybe we'll write the next one.
Yeah, Beetlejuice.
Write our way out of that baby.
Maybe we could do, instead of...
What would you do with that baby in the next movie?
The little Michael Keaton.
Yeah, the little Beetlejuice. That was so... So I was
talking on the end with Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, so I was talking to Casey before I went to the movie.
Okay.
And he was telling me how he walked in at the end, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if there's... how the first one was, or like how they got away with this, but there was like so much fucking blood at the end.
There was kind of a lot of blood for PG-13.
And there was an 2 F word 2 fucks?
No, there was one, and then they bleeped the one he said, which was actually funny. I was like, okay, that was a good one.
They were used well, but yeah, this movie's edgy, and there was like, I heard kids screaming the entire time I was in there, and I'm like, yeah, there's little fucking kids in here. Like, this is crazy that they're going this far. Like, the first Beetlejuice was edgy and not really a kid's movie.
It's just goofy. Like, I think it's like goofy enough that you can have like eyeballs explode, and it's yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't hear a kid start crying though.
What was I gonna say? Was there was one joke I liked a lot.
Yeah, I laughed out loud a couple times.
Yeah, I don't remember.
What is it? You don't remember?
I don't remember. It was in like the church. It was in the church scene on the end, and I thought it was all right.
Were those people dead? All the influencers that came to the wedding?
Yeah, what happened to them? They just went into their phone, and then.
How does she explain that?
Yeah, and that was like one of those like. I mean, maybe it was annoying for people who went to the original Beetlejuice to like be like, oh, these are the annoying people of our day. Lydia's parents, and like their modernist ugly ass home. Like, but to me, it's like the influencers are like the annoying people of our day, and it just seems overdone in a lot of movies. It's like it just seems lazy to like throw in, oh, this guy's an influencer, but I guess that is our time. So, I don't know.
Yeah, just to talk about that for a second. They're the people nobody connects with at this point. Yeah. Like, the only ones that you connect with are the ones that you're looking for that one thing in them for. You don't connect with what they're, like, fitness influencers. You go to them just so you can, like, try to be fit. You don't go to them for their personality, really. Maybe you end up liking their personality, but you don't actually go there for that. So there's just like no connection.
There's just no connection because I don't know this room full of people. You could have put anybody. I would have rather you just had people from the town in there,
Yeah.
Why not?
It was Justin Theroux's thing.
Yeah, it was his thing. And okay, let's do this. I think it'd be fun to go through everybody. Oh, also, I guess I'll just mention, so Beetlejuice on weekend 2, 50 million, and overall 190 million for 2 weeks. Not bad. It's pretty solid.
That's U.S. or worldwide?
That is, I think, worldwide.
That's actually not as much as I thought it would be.
No, worldwide is 267 million. So that was just U.S.
So they've probably recouped.
Opening weekend, U.S. Canada cracked 111 million. So, yeah,
they've probably recouped their money.
It did well, but it's just like this movie doing well doesn't do any good for movies. Probably.
What is going to do good for movies?
Something that isn't a sequel of a movie made in the 80s.
I was watching...
Making money.
I was watching a peer of our show. They're not a peer.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to name someone way cooler than us. Yeah.
I was watching the Confused Breakfast. Shout out. If you see this, talk to us.
I don't know who you are. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to him.
Don't talk to me ever.
They're cool.
I'm cooler.
They were interviewing. Do you remember me talking about Snack Shack? It's a coming of age movie from the 90s. I talked about it last week a little bit.
Okay. Is it something you watched then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Prime now. It got very limited release in theaters.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you talking about this, I think.
And they interviewed the star of it Monday. They put that episode out. And they were just talking about the landscape, and it's like, yeah, a coming-of-age R-rated teen movie literally can't get any backing. Even though it's a great script, and it has the nostalgia that the world wants right now, I guess. And it's just a fun comedy, but it doesn't get any backing from studios. And those are the things that bring back the box office, is low budget films. Like I don't get how, I'm not in the business, but I don't get how low budget good movies never get backing.
I think the only way to do that is like with horror movies, kind of now, you know.
No, but people don't advertise them.
They don't have the budget to.
Isn't it easier to advertise when you already have a low budget?
But you probably have a low budget because you have a low budget.
I know, but
yeah, no, I agree. It'd be awesome if more low to mid budget things got made. Like what?
Like that's the only way to bring back movies, is that we
bring back a diverse palette of movies. Yeah,
we put good movies in theaters, and those simple stories are the easiest, or the low. I'm not doing a great job of talking, but
yeah, no, you're good.
It just seems so simple to me that you spend small amounts of money to get something made.
Yeah.
You see if the end product's good, and then you advertise the shit out of it and get people to go to it.
But people just don't go. I think, like...
People don't go to bad stuff.
People do go to bad stuff. If it's big, like this movie, so Beetlejuice has a $100 million budget. $100 million for that movie. Why? You know?
I know what you're saying. You're saying that this is bad, but this is a 3.4 on Letterboxd, and the reviews have been good.
People like it. I don't. But, and once again, it's everything wrong with what you're saying. Like, this is everything wrong with the industry, is this movie. You know, like, are we at this movie because we like Winona Ryder and because we like Jenna Ortega?
It's Winona, by the way.
Winona.
I'm not going to let you say Winona again.
Okay, sorry. And
fucking
Michael
idiot.
Keaton. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
And
do you know Michael Keaton was a comedian? Sorry, I'm blowing up your spot.
Yeah, you're
Go
blowing
ahead.
up.
Sorry.
People would go to watch these people in movies if they were literally in anything else. Maybe, or they wouldn't, because people are uneducated about movies and they're not going to go to anything they don't know because it's too expensive, blah blah blah. But and people don't take a chance on anything. So the only one-off movies that seem to make money is like true story movie that 70-year-olds go to, because at least it's a true story and I can bank on that. Those people suck. But
Well,
like, why isn't Michael Keaton in other shit, you know? Why don't we go to that?
Yeah, that's true.
Why can't Jenna Ortega...
You're just mad that there's no star in Hollywood.
Well, I'm mad
stars don't
that
make money.
Our stars get taken by these types of movies.
It's the whole thing. I mean, you do these movies, and stars have always done movies like this for the money. The only problem is that the scripts are worse.
Yeah, but you're not making this movie. It's one thing for like the original Beetlejuice has a stacked cast, and that's awesome. But now you're just hopping in on something that, you know, that
Yeah.
Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin built 35 years ago. It's like your star power doesn't have anybody here, and because we've continued to do this, that's why stars don't have the power anymore, because they're filling shoes.
Well,
You're a substitute, and the brand of the movies is bigger than the movie stars in the movie, which doesn't bode well for smaller movies, because you need to sell the movie and not the star.
Well, that's the problem of streaming. Like, yeah, movies without a star have never made money, really. But
Stars start somewhere.
yeah, like stars still do get made from lower budget stuff or not proven stuff.
To us.
Yeah.
Why is Jenna Ortega a star? It's not because of X. It's not because of Scream even that much. It's because of Wednesday on Netflix.
It's
because she's in a TV show.
Yeah, it's because of streaming.
And you. That's why people know her.
The reason stars don't have the power they used to is because if you went to the movies, you were going to a movie with a star in it. Somebody that you loved already that you wanted to see. Now with streaming, you have all the options in the world of what you want to watch. So now...
And people make bad choices.
Well, they make bad choices, but they make the choice not to go to the theater.
Yeah, but they also watch a lot of shit just on streaming.
Where in the past that they did.
Yeah,
like,
they didn't have a choice back then.
Even and like stars don't do... A lot of stars don't do mid-budget movies anymore. Even though there's, like, Zendaya did Challengers. That's an old school movie.
Yeah.
And
there's literally, like, 3 characters in that movie. Pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah, and you could say that those 2 guys are going to be stars now.
Oh, yeah.
But back to Snack Shack, it is getting heat. It's getting a lot of more heat now because now it's free on Amazon, and people are finally seeing it. And the lead actor said he's like, yeah, in the 2 weeks it's been free on Prime, I've been getting fucking hit up by studios and people. And it's like, yeah, you have to wait for things to come out on streaming, the small budget stuff. Exactly. It's just like TV back in the day, except you get less money, so it's less profitable. So why are you going to make the small fucking movie?
Yeah. Well, and it's free to take that. It's not free, but it feels free to take that chance when you like just click on a movie on Prime, you know?
Yeah, Matt Damon said it best. I don't know if you've seen that clip.
I've seen that, yeah. Yeah. Matt Damon, physical media king. We love him. Do we? I love Matt Damon. Do you like Matt Damon?
I like him.
Wow.
I like him when he's not wearing a hat.
Okay. All right. You talking about Stillwater?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. All right. You did wear a hat a lot in that, from what I saw.
I just don't buy him as a tough and grumble middle-aged Midwesterner. If he was Midwestern.
It's just we know too much about him.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, okay. I
prefer him in School Ties.
Yeah, you would.
I haven't seen it. I watched the trailer for that. What the fuck?
What trailer for?
School Ties.
Oh, I thought you meant like in a... What is that?
Good Will Hunting?
Oh, yeah.
No, I meant...
School Ties. Is that a movie, or you mean like in a tie at school? Because I'm like thinking of that.
No, it's a movie.
Or I'm thinking of like Talented Mr. Ripley where he wears a tie.
Let me tell you about this film.
Oh my God. Here we go.
Beetlejuice was good. A little too much going on, but I thought good. So back to School Ties.
Okay.
So it's Brendan Fraser. It's like the whole young 90s crew. It's Ben Affleck's in it, Matt Damon, Christopher O'Donnell, or Chris O'Donnell, whatever he goes by, not his mother. They all go to this private school, and except Brendan Fraser's a Jewish guy who came there to play football, and nobody knows. So then they kick him out and blah, 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 and treat him like shit.
What is this, in Nazi Germany? What?
No, it's in America.
Oh.
But the trailer was crazy. There was a scene of him standing outside the school, and it's raining and there's thunder, and he's like, "Get away from me!" or something like that.
All right. I've never heard of this movie.
Watch it. I don't know if it's good, but...
I don't know if it'll fit into the schedule. Anyways, to wrap this shit up...
Too many Korean films to watch.
It's true. I'm going to go through the cast of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and you're going to tell me...
Their rating for
thumbs up or thumbs down. Just good or bad in this. Good or bad.
Okay.
All right.
Can I do a middle?
Sure. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right. Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz in this movie.
Middle to sideways. Angled thumb.
Okay.
Angled thumb up.
Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dietz.
Good.
Jenna Ortega, Astrid Dietz.
Middle thumb up.
Middle. Justin Theroux as Rory.
Bleh,
Yeah, he was shit.
Just not a good character.
Yeah.
He did fine.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe, Wolf Jackson.
Middle thumb up.
But a middle for Willem Dafoe is basically a thumbs down.
Yeah,
because he's just the man. So
no, it was a good role, but nothing. It wasn't important.
Monica Bellucci as Dolores, the ex.
Bleh, thumb down.
Yeah. Arthur Conti as Jeremy.
Thumb down.
I guess that's our top billing characters.
Give me Danny DeVito real quick.
Fine, Danny DeVito as
thumbs up.
best
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. Spit that shit into my mouth, Danny.
And finally, what was the best scene since you loved it so much?
Ooh, tough question.
It is, because it's hard to think of any.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. Probably that bike crash, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was brutal, actually.
Pretty funny. And then she drilled the tree, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
You know me, I'm a sucker for romance. Give me the stuff at the beginning with Ortega and Conti.
Okay. When he's reading his Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
That's quite fun. I liked it. That was funny when Beetlejuice is like, I'm pretty sure Dostoevsky said that. And just like said some bullshit that was... Yeah, all right.
I like the Beetlejuice and Bellucci making love in the shadows. And him getting manhandled.
Yeah, that was good.
No, he looked like a little freak
He did.
in that flashback.
That was
without
something.
the makeup.
Your rating.
I think I gave
Final
it a
summary.
I'm gonna give this a 3. A 3-star. It was just a basic fun time. It wasn't like the original where it was exciting. It was excitingly good. This one's just a good film, I guess.
All right.
Not a great film, not even an above average film, but just a slightly above average.
Our standards are so high these days. They're just so high.
What's your rating?
2 out of 5. This is a bad movie. This is a bad script. I like everybody in this movie, and that's the only reason I sat through it, I guess. Thank God this movie's isn't 2 hours long. Not that I'm a hater. It's very... I think I'm going to forget about that this ever happened in a month. I'll be on to other things. My thoughts will never return. I'll be in the midst of October and spooky season, and I will forget that Beetlejuice came out this year. Probably.
So there's no part of you that you can foresee being like, okay, we're just going to do a Beetlejuice double feature for
See, I just wouldn't
season.
do that. I would watch the first Beetlejuice. I plan to watch that movie countless times for the rest of my life. This one, I would say, unless my grandchildren are into it, there's no way I rewatch this more than 2 times for the rest of my life. So that's what I'll say. I just really wish something would have happened that was interesting. I just it never had that moment where I like smiled and locked in. Yeah, that's all I got.
How much weight do you give in movies with bad script? How much weight do you give to the performances and the direction? Because
me,
I feel like
it
that's where
depends.
the movie succeeds in the performances and the direction, but it fails in the script.
I just think your script and your performances are all tied together.
Well, in
and-
characters,
Yeah.
but people can give good performances when they're not given good dialogue.
But I think they're giving if they're doing the best that they can, the best that these actors can give is way more than they were allowed to with just the way this movie is. There's no like propulsive fun nature to this movie that like keeps you moving forward. Like if you hop in halfway through, I think it'd be whatever, you know? Put the end at the beginning, put the beginning at the end. It's the same. I feel the same way. I felt very the same the whole way through.
Yeah, it didn't get your blood pumping.
No, unfortunately not. But no ill will. I have no hate for this. I'm not chugging the haterade. I'm just, this movie's like drinking water. You just do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. With that statement. It did give a little bit of Haunted Mansion vibe, except Haunted Mansion had a little less. I liked how they did the dead. Sorry for the callback if you don't remember from the start of the podcast. We were talking about Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you're fine.
I think the Haunted Mansion did the dead person reveal, or the dead person problem in the movie, because Lakeith's wife was dead in that. Okay. I think it did that better than this. And I think we both agree that Haunted Mansion's a worse movie.
I don't know. But I think we'd both agree that this might as well be a Disney movie.
Isn't it?
No, it's Warner Bros.
Okay.
But might as well. What's the difference to me?
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all sterilized.
When are we going to do an A24 movie so you can be happy for once?
We did a shitty one a week ago.
Okay, when are we going to do an actual A24 movie?
When a good one comes out. I don't know.
When's that going to be?
I don't know.
Nosferatu? Is that the next big one?
Is that A24, though?
We could watch Dee Dee.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that.
Is that A24?
I don't think so.
No. Doesn't Robert Eggers work with A24?
Well, Northman was an A24.
Who was it?
So... was that just 20th Century?
Maybe. I'm about to hit 1,000 movies on Letterboxd.
Oh yeah, you got
to watch in my life.
Special.
I was gonna watch Citizen Kane.
Oh, good idea.
But then after that, I was gonna watch The Northman.
Cool. That's 1001.
Well, a rewatch. So no.
I mean, there's never a bad reason to watch The Northman, I guess.
No. Again, the temperature's cooling down. I gotta get in my fall stuff.
Get in the volcano.
Do my Dead Poets rewatch. Do my Northman rewatch.
Gonna watch When Harry Met Sally?
At some point, yeah.
Cool. I got my October figured out. My horror movies.
You have a list?
Yeah, I deadass pick the day. Yeah, on Halloween I plan to rewatch Park Chan-wook's Thirst. But I even have Smile built into my schedule. Smile 2 comes out on the 18th. Very excited. Terrifier 3 comes out the week before, but it's a Christmas movie.
What the fuck?
Which is messing me up. It's I get why you put this out in October, but if the theme of Terrifier is Christmas, why not throw this out last week in November,
Yeah. I'm happy we're not working at the theater anymore.
I loved working for Terrifier 2 because people coming out of that movie, it would just be angry girlfriends.
Yeah.
And then their boyfriend with nothing to say because they knew they fucked up.
And then the two little boys that went to it and
and you're just
didn't catch and you're like, fuck.
yeah. You're just oh no. I hope they don't tell on me.
No, just I feel like we should start having a flashback theater discussion.
Yeah, we should
for
do
every
that
episode.
Oh, okay.
Just bring something up. Maybe we force it like this, or maybe we don't.
Yeah.
But what movie do you think were you the most intense about policing?
Intense.
Most intense about policing.
I think it was that time, I guess it would have been 2 years ago, in October, when when the first Smile came out, and it seemed like there were like 5 horror movies at that time.
Yes.
Like we had a lot, and even the
awful.
the flashback, I don't know what it was, but it was probably like something that people actually went to every week. That was like peak kick people out season, because it felt like the only big movies we had that people were going to were like R-rated horror movies.
Yeah, it was.
Already,
it was
yeah.
It was a crazy time to be working there. It was really busy.
I think you kicked out like 14 people when I was in Smile watching the movie.
Yeah, actually, one night I kicked out 20 people, I think. 20 kids.
That's crazy.
It was... My biggest memory of that, though, was I got off at 9 o'clock one night.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, and the owner was in the theater, and he's an old man, and he doesn't really understand situations very well.
Was that for Smile, right?
Yeah, it was for Smile.
I remember.
It was a sold-out theater. It was full.
It was packed to the gills.
Full of teenagers.
Yeah.
And they were loud and being assholes. And before I left, I did a round of the theaters, and I was in Smile for probably like 10 minutes, just like trying to see who was making the most noise, because you can't kick out the whole theater at that point.
Yeah.
But like the dickhead. And then, so the owner, he's sitting in, there's no other better way to say this, the disabled person chair, where it's just a solo chair.
Yeah, like right next to the wheelchair spot.
Yeah. It's by the wheelchair spot. It's just a solo chair. And it's like in the middle of the theater. He can't see what's going on behind him. And I went and told that kid that was being the loudest, I was like, you and all your friends are going to get kicked out if you keep doing this. And then I was like, job done. I'm going to go home. And I told Levon, I was like, if that kid makes another sound, you have to kick him out. And I was like... Yeah,
if that kid in this massive theater full of kids...
You saw him. I pointed him out.
I don't remember.
But anyways, like...
Yeah.
I was hardcore about it. Levon was a little less so. But I was like, you have to be on this theater.
Well, that was one of my moments, because it's just like, there are unwinnable nights. And that was an unwinnable theater. And the only problem was that, like, the owner was in there, too. And he's never going to accept that. But, like, the same thing would have happened if he would have showed up for Minions opening night. Like, he would have been like,
yeah,
like, am I supposed to kick everybody out because everybody's being an asshole? Like,
kick out these kids.
And, yeah. But, yeah, you got to know what you're walking into. If you're going to a horror movie, like, week 1 that's popular, expect a rowdier crowd. Let's just expect it. To an extent. Obviously, to an extent.
But, so then we got a letter the next day saying that where the owner said nobody came in and there was no checker in there ever.
Yeah.
And he literally couldn't see us even walk in.
Yeah.
So
I remember he snagged some dude's feet from the front row, which was very
like right in
front of where he was.
Yeah, right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just...
Yeah.
So then I was just screaming the next day. I was screaming at Levon. I was screaming at anybody that would listen, like, why do we even do this? I was in front of him. He saw me.
Yes. It's you only get told when you do something wrong type of job. So
yeah,
that's why we all loved it. Well, we can do that, though. I'd like to do a theater episode, like maybe the 5 most memorable movies you worked for. Don't say any right now, because I think that'd be a fun episode.
Jaws.
Which time?
Well, every time.
Every time. I would just stand in there and watch the whole thing. Definitely Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers. Best movie to work for. I love working for Lord of the Rings, though, actually, because like everybody was locked in. You didn't have to do anything. And I'm only going to clean this movie once because it's 4.5 hours long.
When I went to Two Towers, there was this older dude. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's Gandalf.
No, it's Liv Tyler came on the screen, and he's like, is that Emma Watson or something? Something ridiculous like that. And me and my girlfriend was just like, what the fuck? It's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
That happened to me when cleaning for Cruella. Some guy's like, so that's Emma Watson? And I'm like, no. Emma Watson's the one in Harry Potter. And he's like, oh, okay. So what Emma's that? And I'm like, that's Emma Stone. And he literally turns to me and goes, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And then he asked me who the other lady was. And I'm like, you're never going to believe this. But her name's Emma, too. And it's Emma Thompson. And he just he didn't believe me.
And she was in Harry Potter.
And then he's like, oh. And Emma Watson sang that song on the end. And I was like, no. That was Florence and the Machine.
Then he blew his brains out.
He did. And I ate them. All right. Wrap it there?
Yeah, thanks for tuning in again. We appreciate it. For any new viewers, which you definitely are probably, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what we could do better, tell Levon to cut his hair,